Okay. So I plan on playing about an hour today. And for those of you watching the recording that I'm just now starting, hi, I'm Ari. This is Untitled Numenera. And it was picked by some of the people who that wanted to watch me play this for the fundraiser. And right now I'm doing a fundraiser for Paws Your Games, which is the bar at the top of the screen. I just realized something. You. Okay. Can I get... How big are you? Okay, no, you should take up the whole screen. Why aren't you taking up the whole screen? Alright. I don't know why the screen isn't taking up the whole Twitch screen. Okay, you know what, I'm not gonna fight it. So by the way, there should be a link in my about section that, you can buy me a cup of coffee. If you don't want to donate to charity, you can buy me a cup of coffee. Either way, money's going towards a good cause. But it's Monday nights, and I want to play Torment and Vanilla. I don't know if there's any mods. I'm not playing with them. Okay, so, hey, people in chat, I've got two of you. I want to say hi. Thanks for coming to watch. I will let y'all put in an opinion. I'm not going to give y'all that long. But I'm going to let y'all put in an opinion when I have to make moral decisions, because I think it's funny. Torment tied to Numenera. 52%. Your dominant tide will not stop you from taking any path or picking any option in conversations, but they can influence how others respond to you in subtle ways. Okay, will you be male or female? Traditionally, in games, I like being female. Why? It's not because I'm a female, but because normally in games, the female characters are more attractive. And if you don't know, I'm Pan. And, females are just prettier to look at. But boys are more fun. Okay. Your mind wakes... Oh, they talk. Okay. I'm gonna shut up and let him read. I'm used to reading stuff out loud, because most games don't read out loud. This game, I believe, has talky parts where they actually talk and you can hear them. So, alright. Okay, viewers. I'll give you a little bit. What do you think I should do? Should I look at this body? Or should I look around? Now, mind you, the next few questions, I don't know what kind of impact they have on the game. No matter what, there's an event that's going to happen, and there's nothing I think I can do to stop it. Or no, maybe I can. I can't remember. But anyways. How about, I don't think I've done the option of look at this body. That was actually cool. I think if you do this enough times, you die. How far is it gone? So, this reminds me of the video that I watched just a few hours ago before I fell asleep. Of Mark is his rover, the guy who made the squirrel obstacle course in the toothpaste explosion dude, the guy with all the cool sciencey videos. The glitter bomb guy, that guy. He actually did a video on how do you survive a fall from 5 miles up. And one of the things you do is you want to slow down your fall, which is why my first chance I got, I laid my body out straight because, I'm trying to slow down the fall. So, what do you think I should do? Should I try to focus and look at the world, or should I try to remember what happens? Let's look at the world. Okay, I'm falling towards a bay. Landing in water might be an awesome thing, but of course, I'm not going to land in water. Oh, maybe I can. Okay, I've never actually done it this way before, so this is kind of interesting. So, I don't know if I have one more step. If I have 2 steps, I want to look at the bay before I aim for the water. I don't want to aim for something solid. Well, I could. I'm in the wrong position if I want to aim for the water, but you know what? Let's go ahead and do it. Ah. Okay. I don't think I died. No, I didn't die. Okay, jumbled through the clouds of your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, splattering on the ground next to the bowl. Light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for the light it needs to be filled. Yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons, wasted. I'm going to examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. Sharp tooth rim pokes at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort in it. Reflected like streaks on the surface of the bowl as the droplets fall from the ceiling. Alright, You've encountered your first task. You have 3 stat pools: might, speed, and intellect. You can spin to increase the chances of success. This is called using effort. I'm going to keep tutorials up because it's been a while. And also, if you were not familiar with this game or Numenera in general, which is, as much as I have played, is very much like Numenera, the tabletop, which is my friend who DM'd my Numenera game, bought me this game afterwards. Alright, so continue. The more easily the bowl is in front of you, use blank to spin might for a higher level effect. Don't worry if you failed the task. In Torment, failures often result in interesting outcomes. Okay. Success. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim, and with a deep breath, you move it into the glowing pool of the fallen light. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. Should give me a path. A clear radiance spills across the segment floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, nestling the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole. Not yet, but you've begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello, are you still alive down there? We're up here, build a path to us, and be careful. Okay. Shined. Now, do I want to overturn the bowl or do I want to leave it alone? I kind of want to leave it alone this time. Why? Because this bowl healed me. There has been plays that I've started where I overturned the bowl, and I don't remember what happened. But you know what? If I just don't see a benefit of overturning the bowl. So we're going to leave it alone. As soon as you touch the orb, a memory floods into your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. You've had a moment respite from this waterlogged hell. A bubble of still air, your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves. But this body, an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worst, your companion's mind seemed to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you will know, but he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered with knobs, wires, and antennas. He believes he can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that is hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. So, I have 3 options here, and maybe you'll give your input. 1, I can deceive him by telling him that there's somebody coming after us. 2, I can threaten him until he returns to the task at hand. 3, this is taking too long. Cast a spell and astrally to fix your device yourself. Well, I don't want to lie to him, and I don't want to threaten him. So that leaves casting a spell. What do y'all think? You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hand, rewire it, and shove it back at him. Oh, he says, examining your work. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. He waves the device at the door, and the still air of your bubble freshens. As the door swings open, a dark hallway lays beyond, and the passage that links the water-bordered cells and the aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hand closing around a strange yet familiar artifact. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane and pedestal. An iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave pressure dazes you for a moment. There's a pulse of a sonar alarm rippling through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Show more. Okay. I can run. I can come back for it. They won't be able to protect it forever. 2. I can disable the pulse alarm. 3. I can use a device to stop them. One of the ciphers in my belt. Well, I don't want to run. And I could disable the device or disable the sonar, but that might take too long. But using a device to stop them. I don't know. Do I want to disable the sonar or do I want to use a device? I can just hear the Jeopardy music in the background. I use a device. You run urgent fingers over the device fastened to your waist, a fog rising in your mind. Few can be used against the guards. A few can be used against the guards, but also wish from your skin to syntheal or the surrounding water to boiling wax. Hardly idea. Finally, you find a small silver spear. Setting the spear in space, you kick desperately for the safety of a nearby alcove. The spear rolls and unfolds into a spiraling vortex. The spear at its center speaks a few polite words in an ancient language and then begins draining the surrounding water into itself with alarming speed. The approaching guards shout, then they scream as they too are sucked into the whirlpool and are ripped into pieces. You allow yourself a fleeting smile, but are all too aware that more alarms are going off in the distance. The memory begins to fade as if you're being drawn backwards through a tunnel, and you hear more pythons rising from the pits. Something is wrong. The events in the orb have settled into a gap of your mind, but the edges are rough, as though maybe the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else. The gusts of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scents of its prey at the far end of the dark, whispering field. Okay. You stand behind a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for scouting or defense. A metal disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Yourself, your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliff below. If you are looking for a sanctuary, and you were, desperately, this seems like the right place. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat, neutral, her face turned away from you. What would make this place any more secure than the other ones we found? So I have 3 options here. I can draw her attention to the hidden details that my more experienced eye can clearly see. I can charm to persuade her of the merits of the site and remind her of the time constraints. Or I can convince her with the wisdom of my superior intellect. Okay. So I can see something she can't. I can charm her and then also say, hey, we're under a time crunch. Or I can be snobby and say, look, I'm smarter than you. Well, the third one's out. You know what? I'm going to go with number 1 on this one. You shade your eyes against the bright sun so you can point out the thin bands radiating out from the metal disc. How the energy of those bands affect the local fauna, suggesting an enormous source of prior world energy. She thinks deeply. It's geologically sound. Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weakness showed up on your Renaissance scans? She waits for your information and says, all right, I'm convinced. And the two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau and examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the heavy contracts away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. And when you lay a hand to its shoulder to reinforce your command, it rolls and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed, and then turns back to its task, ignoring you. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Show more. Okay, so 1, use Numenera integrated into the contract's body to overwhelm the behavior malfunction. 2, examine the construct for mechanical defaults. 3, look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's an effect of the metal disc itself. Okay, so I don't want to do 2. And really, I know it's a contract, but using the Numenera to overwhelm the behavior malfunction just seems like taking away its free will. And if I remember right, in Numenera, even constructs have free will. So I don't want to do that, which only leaves me for number 3. The mist falls into the plateau as you wrap fiber shielding mesh around the contract's skull, and the mesh powers up, protecting the contract's mind from any transdimensional missions that might be in the area. Taking a deep breath, you repeat your command. Acknowledge. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, blocked by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head. Reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift, one by one, on the back of your neck. Something beyond this room can sense what you are doing and is hunting you. A vision of a city springs up around you. Your city, in flames and under attack. Her defenders have all fought and died today. And still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety. You need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn towards the door of the tower, two of the attackers descending from a hovering machine, you don't have time to strike them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed by glossy armor, and holding a hilt with the sizzling invisible blade. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemy is advanced single fire, combined by the parapet. Okay, so one, I can trade blows with the giant. I can handle it for at least a strike or two. No, I can't. Duck under the giant's wing and attack before he can strike. Possibly, or I can fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. Now, just because big dude wielding an axe doesn't mean he's the... Sorry. Alright. Now, big dude wielding a big vibrating axe. Yeah, he looks scary, but is he really the bigger threat here? I mean, the other is slim, she's in glassy armor, which, hey, isn't glass like the best armor in Skyrim? I'm pretty sure this game came out after Skyrim. And he's holding a hilt with the sizzling invisible blade. Well, just reading that, the vibrating axe, that's sonic and, axe, and sizzling fire, visible blade, can't really see. I don't know. Looking at the two of them, I don't know which one's the bigger threat. And if I ever get to a point where I'm streaming my D&D campaigns, or I'm the player, I don't necessarily hit the biggest and the baddest looking person. I normally play defensive. I give them a chance to attack me first. I see which one's the most scariest, and I go after that one with a vengeance. So, to stay true to who I am, I'm going to fight defensively and figure out who presents the greatest threat. The memory seems crystal clear. The giant is menacing, it's true, but the invisible blade of his companion is more worrisome still. The energy that flickers and waves around it suggests that she can carve matter at a molecule level, tearing the pieces of her target into nothingness. If you're to save yourself, your best bet is to tackle her first. She's stuck behind the giant, waiting her turn to attack you, unable to bring her weapon to bear until he's out of the way. But it's clear that she expects him to handle you. Her eyes rose behind you, her focus on your ward. She's certainly not expecting you to dive between the giant's legs and come up inside her guard. She can't bring her blade to bear in time, and you drive your dagger underneath her chin. You catch her before her deadly blade drops onto you and spin her around. The weapon slashes into the giant. He topples, bisected. The immediate threat ended, you focus on finding your way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall. You hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. So I can do a few things here. I can hurl myself against the door and knock him to the ground. I can crack the door open and sneak past them, or I can charge through them, counting on my defenses to protect you. Okay, my defenses might protect me, but I have somebody that I care about, so I'm more worried about protecting them. So I have the option of, do I hurl against the door and knock him to the ground, which gives me a moment of advantage to go against them, or do I crack the door open and sneak past them? I gotta think on this one for a moment. Since I have the second person, and yes, 2 people can sneak, but it's harder to get 2 people to sneak. I'm gonna knock him to the ground. You charge through the dim shadows, dropping your shoulder into the door at the last minute. It burst open. Halfway through its arc, crashing into the air of enemies and scattering them. You race halfway through the door, plan in hand, and you dispatch your sunflows before they have a chance to move. Their blood begins to pool in the hallway. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat. The reclaimed memories blaze within you like a bonfire within a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist was struck in the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Okay. Sorry, I'm updating. Twitch.tv. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. There's some people that I follow on Twitter. This one particular group, Dungeons and Dungeons, or something like that, just had this hilarious tweet of, the DM's like, so, what are your characters? And one of the players goes, we're all warlocks. And the DM's like, to who? And another, or maybe it's the same player, goes, to each other. DM, how does that even work? Friendship is magic. I'm in the server for Starlight Over to Chat, which is a fanfic of Friendship is Magic, and so I had to go share that with them. All right, so let's go to the mirror. So one of the things all these memories have been leading up to is helping you pick who you are, what character you are. Are you a Jack? Are you a Nano? What is the tank? Oh, okay, we'll figure it out. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols. A dagger, mask, paintbrush, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast cloud of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving around, arguing, and fighting with each other. Most are drab imitations, but precious few are vivid and pull out your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. your hands twitch at your side as though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you. Even the smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, like a slow vibration spreads from the darkest below, rippling towards the ceiling. Okay. So, I'm not going to step away from the mirror. Because there's nothing left to do in here. It is, I have to pick somebody. And I can change anything that they give me. But based off of my choices, these are the top 3 contenders. 1, I can point to the one with clever eyes. 2, I can point to the one with the mystical symbol on its brow. 3, I can point to the one that's observing all the others. The mystical symbol is probably a nano, which is probably the nano. These all might be nanos. In Numenera, there is a jack, which is kind of like a robe. It's a jack. They can do so many different things. They're a jack of all trades. Then you have the nano. The nano is the wizard. It's a spellcaster. And then you have the tank, and I can't remember what the tank is called. It'll come up in a minute. And then there's a whole bunch of other, and I think those are the 3 classes you can be. And then you get one word to describe your character, and based on that one word is the different traits you can get. Man, I really wish Blue was home from work, because I would totally have him explain this part better. But, I'm not going to wait several hours when, honestly, it's going to be just a couple of clicks away. So, the clever eyes, kind of, but maybe not. With the mystical symbol, this is probably the nano, and I like playing nanos. Observing all the others would be an interesting play too. Let's do that, Anna. The doppelganger shoulders its way through the crowd, casually donning an 8-fingered glove. It then digs its fingers into the glass between you, and with a grunt, it tears a hole in the surface, shaped like a pointed ear. Carefully, the doppelganger speaks an unfamiliar word in the ear, and the ground itself seems to turn, as if you're standing inside the door, and inside the door, the doppelganger had just opened. When you look around, the hole is disappeared, and nothing has changed. Wait, or has it? The doppelganger plucks 8-fingered glove from its hand and waits for your decision. So here, they give you a choice. Do you want to pick that character, or do you want to pick one of the other ones? And you know what? I'm going to say yes. Yes, this is who I am. Alright, I was the nano. Okay. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edge of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearances change as it steps out of the rippling gas, and its face excludes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around it, technology of several kinds. From a myriad of past ages, you get the feeling you would be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind. And the descriptor that I have been given is mythical. The doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, feeling you, making you whole. The decision rings out in the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking vast mechanisms behind the wall. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell, if bells could rot. Something is coming. Oh, somebody left. And the one point I used earlier got restored. The mirror fades, leaving a dark, open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. This would actually be a good stopping point. But let's do character creation, and then it's going to be a stopping point. And then I'll go to reading, because I'm behind my schedule. Okay, so your choices in the memories and the mirrors have begun to build your character, but now you have the opportunity to decide on a number of details. First, you can decide your type. The type defines the abilities and skills you'll be able to acquire as you advance. So I want to be a nano. I really do. But, Glaive. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and look at the Glaive. Glaives are the elite warriors of the Ninth World. Using weapons and armor to fight their enemies, scouts, guardians, warlords, soldiers could be glaives. Most glaives either have a high might and use the heaviest armor and weapons available, or a high speed and stick with light weapons or ranged weapons and medium armor. Jack. Jacks are intrepid explorers and adventurers. They are the Jacks of all trades, hence the name. Although the word also harkens back to the fable involving a wily, resourceful hero who always seemed to be named Jack. Jacks are the best when they combine weapon, armor, expertise, ciphers, and a clever tongue. They are treasure hunters, grifters, skalds, rogues, and experts in various fields. I want to be the nano. So nanos are sometimes called mages, wizards, sorcerers, or even witches by the people of the Ninth World. Whatever they're called, nanos master the mysteries of the past to the degree that they seem to perform miracles using exorcies, spell-like invocations that combine gestures, command words, and psychic disciplines. They tap into nano sprites, Numenera particles that suffuse the landscape to alter reality or learn things that they couldn't otherwise know. Okay, abilities. Can I change my name? I cannot. Okay, so let's talk about the health. Health. If you play a video game with hit points, health is your hit points. It determines how much damage a character can sustain. When the ask cost is reduced to 0, you will typically awaken in the calm. When a companion falls, they are knocked unconscious and they are revived and healed. A crisis ends, or you move to a new area. If they aren't healed, they receive lasting damage feeble. Stat pools. Stat pools are might, speed, and intellect. They are resources you can spend to activate abilities or increase your chance of success on any task with effort. Stat pools can be refilled by using items or just sleeping. Might represents the character's physical strength and resilience. Each point of might also increases the health by 1. Speed represents the character's dexterity and reaction times. Every 2 points in speed also increases evasion by 5%. Intellect represents the character's mental powers, willpower, and personality. Every 2 points in intellect also increases the willpower by 5%. Abilities, I don't have any options. Okay, so heavy weapons. I am not trained, in fact, hindered by heavy weapons. So, yeah. I don't want to use heavy weapons. I don't want to use medium weapons. And I am no good at intimidation. I can do it. I'm just not good. Or do I really need to explain these? Actually, I need to read this one. So concentration, which I have 1 point, which makes me a novice. 2 red dots is inability. 1 red dot is a novice. 2 is trained. 3 is And then I don't know how to get specialized. So, no dots is novice. 1 dot is trained. So trained is a bottomed artifact equipped to the first slot. Does not confer a negative effect. If I put 2 points in this, it becomes in both slots do not confer negative effect. Alright. Cipher use. All ciphers emit ooze pulsate with a strange energy secretion without properly care and identifying storing too many together can cause catastrophic reactions. With training, you can learn to safely store additional ciphers with only a very slim chance of growing an unexpected appendage or other mutations. Okay, lore mystical. 15% per level on difficulty task with this. Well, an ability confers 15%, negative 15%. Well, I do have an ability, and it looks like I probably have just 15%. The academic knowledge of science that are not exactly physical or natural, including strange transdimensional creatures. Okay, so concentration increase. I get a +1 in level, +1 training level in concentration. +2 intellect pool, 2 points to. I have 2 points to go to any pool I want. +5 health at each tier after first. Gain 2 abilities at each tier. Can pick 1 lore skill at tier 1. That has to do with leveling, and I'm still not exactly sure how it works. Cipher limit. Which let me has +1 cipher. Okay, Onslaught. Onslaught is the spell that all nanos start with. Choose a damage point type, do 5 damage of that, and confer minor additional effects based on the choice. I get 1 damage per effort applied, max 6. Defended by willpower, consumes an action. Okay. Do I get to add points here? No. Okay, stat pools are the resources you use to apply effort or activities. You can distribute points as you see fit. Glaives tend to favor might or speed, while nanos favor intellect. Jacks usually benefit from a balanced set of points. Okay. So honestly, I have 2 points remaining. So I can either dump them both in intellect, or I can put them anywhere I want. Let's do speed, because it helps with evasion. Abilities. Unlocked by your type can be achieved. Can be active actions such as attacks or spell-like things, or unique passive effects. Okay, here we go. I have 2 points remaining. So one of the things I really like is scan thoughts, because it just gives you more information. Surface thoughts of most people or creatures you speak have. I can see what somebody's really thinking, and it's just really useful. Quantum Step is a whole bunch of fun. You get to teleport 1 ally to a point within range, and the range is actually pretty far. Removes all negative fetals, including flanked and lasting damage. Heals 6 points of health. That could be useful. I already want that one. Gain +1 training level in Cipher use skill, which allows me. Oh, that'd be cool to have +2 ciphers. Adapt adaptation. Gain protected, +2 armor, +1 resistance. Armor. Okay, so this is a spell. Targets allies in the immediate area. You know what? I think I want to be able to heal this time. Okay. Character creation. Most skills increase your chance of success with specific kind of action and task, but some can give passive benefits. These skills start with a 0-0 novice and can be increased to trained, specialized, granting greater bonuses at each level. Descriptors will also have some skills at the red ability, meaning they inflict penalties. When upgraded, they return to the novice, which is the blank level. So I can choose an exploration skill. I already have a point in mystical. So do I want to make it a second point in mystical, or maybe I want to know machinery or natural? I don't know really enough about the game to know which one is better. I have played a little bit into the game, and knowing about machinery does confuseful, but for the long run, I don't know. I can read minds. You know what? I'm gonna go with natural. Choose a weapon. Only glaives get the weapon skill. Oh, I don't play glaives. So although you chose your descriptor from among the many doppelgangers in the mirror, you now have a chance to review it, specific bonuses and penalties it grants. You also examine the effect of the descriptors of other descriptors. Okay. So I am starting with mystical. So gifted with the Numenera with the strange powers of ancients, you are not as good with people though. So this gives me the mystical skill, the cipher use skill, but it takes away my intimidation. So basically, I am a mystical nano. Okay, I'm not gonna read all these out loud. No, wait, no, no. Ooh, no. Okay, hold on. Huh. No, no. That's why I put 2 points in speed. That would make up for the evasion. So I like mythical because it gives me an extra cipher, and honestly, that's just awesome. Okay, are you sure? Are you sure you wish to proceed? This is your last chance to change your cast off character type or descriptor. Yes, I'm pretty sure this is what I want. So we're not quite at the hour yet. How about when I will stop when I wake up? Codex entry unlocked. The labyrinth. The Spectre. Everything about the Spectre seems dreamlike. His hazy silhouette, who seems to be made of blue glass smoke, he wears a stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome bearded face seems to be hauntingly familiar, though you've never seen him before. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees you. We weren't sure that would work. We pulled our strength and channeled it through me to reach you, to wake you up. He glances at the other figures here and frowned unhappily. It took more out of them than we thought. Other reflections, they're more shadows, like shadows now. Look, I bet you've got a lot of questions. This whole place is basically your mind. Your body is still there in the real world, healing from that fall. You need to get out there and finish the process. He shrugs. Shouldn't be too hard. Okay, so I have a few questions. And I'm going to go ahead and ask all of them. So before I met you, I felt like something was hunting me. Do you know what that was? He closes his eyes. That's a memory I don't want to recall. Large, black, furious. It's her death. It's the sorrow. He closes his eyes. I hope it's lost interest in you. If it finds us, we're done for. Okay, you said I had to finish the process. What do you mean by that? After you wake up from this dream state and tune to the tides, you'll need to find something called the Renaissance Chamber. Your body should have landed somewhere near it. Just climb inside that and everything will be fine. What do you mean attune to the tides? The tides are like a force, like gravity or magnetism or something, except they respond to people's actions and perceptions. Your body, that is. And your body, that is your body in the real world, needs the tide to survive. It's not something you need to worry about. Your body will attune as it wakes up. Hey, what's the Renaissance Chamber? I remember pieces about it, but not the whole. It's a crystal sarcophagus. I remember it having 5 mechanical arms around it and a metal ring set in the floor. I think we were aiming for it when we fell. When you open your eyes in the real world, it should be nearby. Who are those other people? You call them reflections? That's what they are. As I said, it's your mind. You'll find reflections of people you know, people you've been in the real world, and whom you share some kind of psychic connection. I don't know how or why. It just happens. If this place is my mind, why don't I remember any of this? Any of you? It's your mind. A contract built to, I don't know, share thoughts, store your true self. Wait. You know how people say, in the first place? This is definitely the first place of your memory. Well, it was the first place for me anyways. You'll probably know better since it's yours. If you don't remember now, maybe it'll come to you later. Okay, I'm not having him tell me about this place again. Who are you? He pauses, looked down to himself, considering for a long time before answering. I'm you. I'm part of your mind, a splinter. I was waiting here for you. We called you. With the memories of the others who are here, I don't know what happened next. How do you know all this? All you're telling me. He throws up his hands in front. I'm just a part of you. I look at you and I know. This place was made for you, for us, and I remember pieces of knowledge that come to me when you ask questions, but that's all. So how do I get back to the real world? There's a portal down there. It'll take you back to your body, just up through it, and the whole tides thing should take care of itself. He crosses his arms. When you wake up, find the Renaissance Chamber and activate it, and we can... What in the hells is that? God, this is sorrow. The sorrow is anchored in those reflections. It's devouring their power. We need to get rid of them. Destroy the anchors or else the sorrow will erase us forever. Crisis initiated. Kill the reflections anchoring the sorrow to your mind. The crisis begins when you enter a dangerous position. Crises are turn-based encounters where you can fight, sneak, and manipulate the environment, or maybe talk your way out of trouble. Each turn, you can take one action to attack or activate an ability, and you can also make one move. Okay, so the reflection nearest you, you'll loosen the sorrow. Okay, so to attack an enemy or move position, click the highlighted character. Try clicking the highlighted character. All right. Efforts can be applied to attack increase chance to hit. As with other tasks, each level of effort increases your chances by 20% at the cost of 1 point from the stat pool. Unarmed attacks use speed, but other weapons and abilities might use might or intellect instead. Oh, yeah, 50 is bad. Let's do 70. You've already used your action this turn and will need to wait for your next turn to deal with another reflection. You can spend your remaining time by move. If you want to end your turn early, you can click to end turn at the lower left. So okay. When that's escaping, it's gonna hide inside your mind. Now run, get to the next one. You can sacrifice your action for a double move instead of attacking. The movement preview line is purple whenever it requires a double move. So, like, if I wanted to go over here, you see that would be a double move. However, okay, I get to pick. So, do I want to do chemical transfer? Let's do chemical. Your effort increases. Okay, yeah. Okay. What's it doing now? It's infecting it somehow. Battles are temporary conditions instead of spikes that can improve or reduce a character's stats. The star had just placed a fettle on the remaining reflection. You can't remove this fettle, but you might find a way to overcome it. So, what is the fettle? Okay. Okay. You pried it loose. That thing is a cancer, an infection. It's unstoppable, but you stopped it. He holds his head in hand. I can't believe it found us in here. He looks at you, terror in his eyes. That thing, the sorrow, it's been hunting you. It's what killed you in the first place. It'll keep hunting you until you activate the Renaissance chapter. I didn't remember until I saw it. That's why the chamber is so important. You have to get back and activate the chamber before it's too late. The portal to your body is shimmering down there. No go. Now, if I remember right, that gives me... Okay. It deals damage and refills the user's stat pools. It consumes an item. This is a fragment of the mirror of the sorrow that shattered in the calm. It holds a reflection of you, frozen in time, surrounded by a cornea of multicolored energies. Decipher. Okay. No. And yes, the chamber is broken by my fall. When they were aiming for it, I landed on the damn thing. Well, you look at that. Wait. I know that face. Aldrin, which is the dude with white hair. What was that? What did you do, Cal? I'm just gonna call her Callie. His tone becomes accusatory and suspicious. You open your eyes. The first thing you notice is the man's kaleidoscope of tattoos, wreathing across his forearms. He wears a long dark coat belted at the waist, supplies filling with pockets. Supplies filling the pockets. His boots are worn and stained with years of travel. Callie, you blame me? She admitted an internal physiological reaction in response to the fall, probably related to that fantastic healing process. Obviously, Allie, and yes, I'm shortening names. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions trail from her, each nearly mimicking, though some act and react to stimuli you can't perceive. Her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through these shadows. Yeah, she's moving around. That is something her character honestly does. It's disorienting, but hey, it's a video game. Oh, yes. It's obvious, Callie. His voice is grim and clipped, and then he sees you looking at him. You're no ordinary mortal. We know that much. Start talking. His face and heart is set. And this is why I picked Scan Thoughts, because I can read his mind, so I know a little bit deeper in what he's thinking. She's the changeling god. Callie is deliberately blinding herself, but why? Okay, so I have a few. You really don't know. I'm starting to think you're not her. Starting to think, Ellie, tell me, is this a novel experience? Aldry is being more paranoid than usual. How long must I put up with him? It's her face. I've never seen any other people rebuild themselves like that. Only the changeling god could have healed so quick. He sighs and rubs his face, trying to regain his motor. Maybe you could help me for a change. You know what this means to me. You're familiar with the word changing, Allie? It implies inconsistency. Thus, the changing god may well have changed. Several versions of her shrug, and then she addresses you. You'll have to forgive him. He believes you're someone he once knew, even though it's plainly obvious to anyone you were newly born. Callie her most solid self curtsies, or while others bow or spin. I and my sisters am Callie. This is Ollie. We are explorers, knowledge seekers. That is how we came to be in this room. If I am not mistaken, you are what we call a cast-off. The changeling god created you, the body and the mind. Your sir used your body for a time, and then abandoned you for reasons of his own. When his mind departed for a new experience, you were born in his cast-off shell. Okay. Oh man. Okay, it's been an hour. I guess I need to get through this interaction. Okay, so of these, the question that I really want to do, because it'll help anybody who is new to Numenera, is who is the changeling god? Haha! That is something coming from you. Callie gives him a sidelong glance. The changing god is your sire, dear. He discovered a path to immortality a long time ago, and the means to transfer himself into a new body of his own creation. I don't think he knew, however, that when he abandoned one body, another mind was birthed to fill the void. Oh, he knew all right. He eyes you up and down coldly. The only thing the changeling god cares about is himself. He didn't give a single thought for those he leaves behind. Scans he sees us as experiments, not humans. Okay. And yes, the changeling god is thought of as a male, though sometimes he makes female bodies. I'm not going to do that question. because I just explained it. Yes, there are other cast-offs. Why am I not dead? Not gonna do. I'm not gonna tell them about the labyrinth with the glowing specter. I really don't want to point out that if falling from the sky didn't kill me, is there anything that can? So we're gonna go ahead and go with number 1. Callie, a sanctum of Versailles, common belief. He has several such places throughout the ninth world, and possibly other worlds as well. We are only just able to gain entry to this one because of your grand entrance. Okay. Oh, I guess there is something that I need to say. Before I woke, I was in some kind of dreamlike labyrinth, the glowing specter. With how hard you hit the ground, I'm surprised that's all you saw. Are there other castles? I might have to do every freaking question. Dozens, hundreds. Who can say? Your sire has been doing this for several centuries. Though if all of them were born the way you claim to have been, it's a wonder any of them have survived. So you say I was born when the changeling cloud left, but how am I not dead? Allergen, I used a cipher to slow your far further, but the damage still would have killed an ordinary person. But think about it. If you're the kind of person who can make your body into anything you want, what do? If you constructed bodies for centuries, you want to make each one of them better than the last. You want to live forever. You're not going to let your life end by accident. No, you're going to make strong bodies, fast, powerful. Maybe throw in regeneration while you're at it. The changing god has always been vain. He rarely stays in a shell that doesn't suit his self-image. Oh, the changeling god has always been vain. He rarely stays long in a shell that doesn't suit his self-image. She looks you up and down, her smile subtly unnerving. Perhaps the changeling god fed because he didn't want to wear those scars of yours. Oh, here we go. Do you know anything about the tides? I've heard the term before, a subject your sire studied in great depth. I'm afraid it isn't a field of my inquiry. If the changeling god abandoned my body, where is he now? If he abandoned your body, then his consciousness fled to another. He eyes you keenly. Oh, do stop! The look she gives Allie is equally piercing, amplified with the withering glare of her sisters. If there's one thing we know about the changeling god, dear, it's that he's always contingencies. This child was born here. This object of your obsession will have been reborn somewhere else. How can you be sure this body is a cast-off? You mean aside from the miraculous reformation? For one thing, there's your tattoo. All the cast-offs have one. Its purpose is beyond me. And then, of course, there's your delicious naivety. I need to block big followers. She could be faking it. You don't live 100 years without learning to like him immensely. Oh, 4! She says in expiration and then says to you, what do you think? Are you a newborn child, or are you a powerful immortal whose death has been robbed of his memories? Algarin crosses his arms and goes, fine. What do you think? And he has a subconscious thought of, this should be interesting. Okay, so I fall from the sky, go into this mental labyrinth, have this sorrow. And the Spectre was saying that I'm you, and these are shadows of you. So my options are, I survive that fall and have the skills and powers I don't recall learning. What if I am the changeling god? That doesn't feel right. There's so much I don't know or remember. I think I must be a cast-off. Okay. You obviously knew the changeling god, Aldrin. What do you think? Am I him? That's a little too sarcastic for me. Or, I honestly don't know. It's just the one I'm gonna pick. Aldrin, he forces a smile onto his face and pats you awkwardly. His brow remains furrowed, though. You don't know. Perhaps we can talk about what you do know. Callie laughs scornfully. She clearly knows enough to evade your clumsy accusations, Allie. You have nothing to go on but bitterness and bias. He looks away. Composure slips a little. God, you are so rancid sometimes, Callie. Okay, what was the loss of energy when I woke? Callie, as I was telling my cloud leave, it was obviously a physiological reaction of some kind. I've never witnessed a burst of a cast off, but yes, I could tell. But I could very well been the cause of your narcissistic consciousness. Don't worry. I don't believe it caused you any harm. Not to me, at least. Really? You've been more abrasive than ever since we came in here. He shoots her sideline eyes. She just can't empathize with other people unless she's experimenting on them. You know what? Are you sure that surge didn't hurt you? If it did, the damage is in our minds. Though, how do you check it if it hurt her? I wouldn't say. Tough to find normalcy there. At least we know it didn't hurt Aldrin. That skull is as thick as organic stone. Okay, let's ask you about something else. Of course, child, you must be so disoriented. Why do you seem to hate the changeling god so much? Aldrin, the ghost of a smile touches Aldrin's mouth, as if he's privy to a joke, but it doesn't reach his hard eyes. He's lived longer than anyone in the 9 worlds. Hasn't been much of a philanthropist in all that time. He's helped some people, sure, but it's always been in his own self-interest. He's gotten away with a lot of skiffs over the years. Okay. If falling from the sky didn't kill me, is there anything that can? Callie, excellent question. Having seen your regenerative abilities in action, I suppress their primary physical and regrowth. And if that's the case, you'd be unable to survive most of the varieties of psychic or magical decompression, disintegration, conflagration, and so forth. Generative diseases could pose a problem, and I know of several entities capable of psychic destruction. As she speaks, a vision flashes into your mind. Well, it's not yours exactly. Somehow, you know, this is the memory of the changeling god. You are in a dark room, lit by a myriad of blinking lights and holograms from heavy machines surrounding you. What about a body can withstand the What about a body that can withstand the sorrow's attacks? Says the voice. It seems to be coming from one of the machines. No, you reply. This thing has no respect for barriers of any kind. Physical, temporal, psychic. This is the only way. With the series of gestures, you bring up an image of a crystalline pod. If the Renaissance chamber works, it will give us the power to stop the sorrow's hunt once and for all. We just need the right focal point, catalyst. The memory fades, and Kathleen is still talking. You realize the device you saw in the memory is identical to the one behind you, and it looks just like the Spectre had described it. A transparent sarcophagus inside a crystalline dome, with mechanical arms arrayed around it on a metal ring. Unfortunately, the dome is shattered and the sarcophagus is cracked, and one of the arms is in pieces on the floor. Whatever its function, it clearly needs repair. Or flesh-eating viruses. One presumes disfiguration by the world iron winds would likewise be devastating enough to... I think she gets the point, Callie. Yeah, I'm reading this in my head. Do either of you know how to fix that crystal chamber in here? Algren chuckles, affirm. Certain it's not likely. Though it might not be impossible, you'll need people with their appropriate knowledge. I'm sure the cult of a changing god would hold the answer. Oh, jeez. Her distaste is evident in the expressions of her echoes, although one face remains carefully impassive. Her lead face, you turn the insane newborn to help. You turn to the insane to help a newborn. Where's your judgment, Aldrin? I would take her to the order of the truth. Order of truth? Are you mad? They would soon just take us apart. What is the order of the truth? Knowledge seekers. They are the learned who try to wrest secrets from the hearts of the prior worlds. They gather in cities to exchange their findings and help humanity building a brighter future. She smiles brightly. Our friend Aldrin was once one of them. Frauds, quake slavers, charlatans, they don't have all the answers. I'd not trust them with the changing God's secrets. You're just angry they couldn't help you with yours. Her echoes tinkled within them. But I'm being too gruel, dear Alarm. Let us take our new friend to the order. What of the cult of the changing god? Despite what she says, they're not insane. They're eccentrics. She laughs a bit. He soldiers on. They're worshippers of, well, your sire, the changing god. They devote their lives to understanding your kind. I have some other questions. Do either of you know anything about the sorrow? I've had my share of sorrows, but not the sorrow. What is it? Is it these? Her mouth compressed in a line. I don't believe you. I know nothing about it. I'll figure it out on my own. Hold on. I'll come with you. I don't want you getting lost. Suspicious as always, Aaron. The tyrant is the world is an exciting place, but it's full of dangers. Rest assured, one of us will get you safely where you need to go. I'll be right behind you. A sunny smile crosses her face. I shudder to think what Aldrin might do to the child. All right, then. Let's go. You've gained your first companions. They will follow the last cast-off, and can be controlled during crisis. You can speak to them about their past and take advantage of their unique abilities and skills. Companions have their own motivations and personalities, and depending on the choices they make, they may not follow you forever. You will find more companions who can join you as you travel through the ninth world. Take this opportunity to explore the surroundings. You may find items, equipment, more assistant to you. When you're ready, you can leave the broken dome using the stairs to the northeast. Okay, so let's interact with this. Sunlight falls through the ragged hole in the roof and onto the shattered Renaissance roof. It's hard to believe that you did this, that you plummeted through the curved, pale blue sky and crashed through the dome and broke the delicate machine with your own body. It's hard to believe you are still alive. Four mechanical arms hang over the center device above the cracked semi-transparent crystal sarcophagus. The fifth arm lays broken on the floor among the scattered synth and crystal shards. Metal rings around the debris, dented and broken by your impact crater. Let's take a closer look. The padded interior beneath the coffin's cracked lid looks like it was made for a human body. Despite the damage, you don't see any way to open it and get inside. You glance between the sarcophagus and the needle-like protrusions at the end of the arms above. It seems likely that using this chamber will not be a pleasant experience. Examine the suspended arms. Cables running from the machines and the dome walls to the quick base of suspended arms, each wall capped with long needles aimed cracked often like chambers at the center of the platform. Gem-like flickers dim at the base of the arms. Inspect the metal ring. You feel the slightest hint of resonancy every time you cross the ring, and now that you're paying attention, you know that your breath is echoing in your ears, as though you were inside a glass dome. When you step outside the ring, the feeling passes. Examine the shards on the ground. Jagged crystals are intermingled with synth's shattered dome above. There's crystal shards glittering the light like captive suns. I'm going to pick up one of the crystals, and I will look at it later. Look for other useful shards. You sort through the remaining, but there's other too small or too unwieldy to be used. Okay. So we're going to step away. So we're gonna go over here. And we're gonna take off. The slight back unoppressive device conquers before you, and you reach out. As you reach out to touch it, the triangles of light on a blaze to life, and an image unfolds in your mind. A towering crystal arch over the ragged gray landscape. The air is dead and stifling, and here, at its emerald's peak, the image collapses, leaving you staring at the device's triangle array of lights. Command me. Show me that arch again. You see a huge crystalline jagged arch. Arch is divided into regular cells, all numbered as they appear to be transferred, except the arch is one bright, pulsating the number O. Okay, can I examine the waste? Try to get many kilometers of outline that seem to be broken tire, except it's slowing. Okay, I'm not wasting a point. The memory blooms. You stand before this arch, eyeing the last two active cells and the once impenetrable loom laugh. Unleash cell 29, you say, and twisted artifact appears before you. You claim it with a faint smile, watching the light fade from the cell above. You flinch from the memory and it falls apart as you raise your arch to cell 29, not dark, only self with 0 remains. Okay, close the image of the arch. You found a cipher. Ciphers are numeric arch. Yeah. Okay, continue. Please be advised that, okay, the device filters in focus. The cell 0 will now be unleashed. The intelligence bits. Please be advised that the object you are about to receive is completely safe. Use no caution whatsoever. The strange contents of cell 0 means 0 warning. All cells are vacant, shuddering Langenvo. The intelligent winks out one by one. Continue. Interesting that a cast-off can command a changeling war machines. How'd you do that? Callie rolls her eyes at Allie, then looks at you. He'll never stop gnawing on this bone, you know. Truth is wasted on him. Though I admit, how did you do that? Just a lucky guess. Sure it was. Don't forget I'm watching you. As if you'd let us forget, honestly, Allie. Okay. Okay, that's cool. The tiny glowing motes float through the interior of this tower, each one surrounding by a much smaller mote, like thousands of worlds cycling in their suns. Okay, so you aren't something I can look at, but you are. The flexible tubes attached to this machine appear to be later additions. Someone cobbled this device together, but the function is unclear. Okay. So I'm gonna go. Inventory lets you view, equipped, and manage items that you find in a number of selections. Okay, continue. First, the equipment contains any items equipped to the character. Equipment include melee and ranged weapons, shields, armor, ordnance such as rings, amulets, and bonded islands. Your backpack contains items that are currently carried by the current character. You can equip, inspect, or transfer items to it. Inventory quest items are any special items required for quest. Quest items cannot be discarded or sold, so you won't need to worry about accidentally losing one. The final section is your cipher use. You're carrying your cipher limit. Ciphers are shown. The inner rings are highlighted in blue, are safe for you to carry. The ones in the outer ring are orange or over your cipher limit and inflict negative effects as long as you carry them. You can sell, discard, transfer to another party member to get back underneath your cipher limit. Okay. So I have 5. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so shimmering glass. So refills all my stats. So I'm gonna save this. Deals 6 energy damage. Physical damage to all. And 4 physical damage to all characters in range. Ooh. Okay. What is this? Heals 3 points of intellect. Oh, that's important. Heals 3 points of speed. Okay. And shins are just random junk, but they're considered to be money. Okay. So I don't have any positive status or negative fables. Looks like I can have up to 3 allies in my party. Tier 1, I have 43 experience, I have 20 hit points, I have 1 max effort. Maximum effort can be applied to any task. I need to raise that. Let's look at character sheet. Onslaught. Oh, I did not know I could level up my Onslaught. That is freaking awesome. Concentration, Cipher, Mystical, Natural, Combat Skills, and then, okay. Journal. Main quest, Fall into Earth. Secondary quest. Do I have anything completed? No. So, main quest, Fall into Earth. I miraculously survived the fall from many kilometers above the Earth's surface, only to find myself in another unexpected situation. My only hope is stopping the sorrow, the creature that haunts me. Is to climb inside the Crystal Renaissance Chamber and activate the device. Unfortunately, the Renaissance Chamber was badly damaged in my fall, so it'll need to be fixed. And my first task is to find a way to repair the chamber. The 2 people around me have conflicting opinions about where I should go for help. Aldrin suggests that I speak to the cultists of the Changeling God, where Callie directs me to the Order of the Truth. Okay, so Codex. Okay, so companions. There's Aldrin. There's Callie. And there's me. Okay, so that's what I would look like if I was a boy. Alright, characters. Cast off. Those who have been birthed by the Changing God's abandonment are known as cast-offs. It is speculated that a few hundred or more are scattered throughout the Skagit cliffs or wider nobody knows who they are. Reflection and the people you met in the world have made strong enough reflection. Okay. The Changeling God. Let's actually read hers. I've actually never read these before, so let's do it. The landscape, culture, and history of the Skagit cliffs have been shaped innumerable ways by the Changeling God. At one point in the distant past, he was respected researcher and a scientist, albeit flawed and selfish. But unlike most mere humans, the Changeling God is not confined to a single lifetime. For centuries, the Changeling God has continued his existence by transferring his consciousness into bodies of his own creation, casting off many vessels that have held his mind. He has moved from life to life, whether it's to avoid pain, injury, or death, or maybe just to seek new sensations and experience. What he didn't realize at first was the bodies he left behind were often severely damaged, were not empty. Each time he tore his mind from one of these husks, a new consciousness was born inside, a new person with their own thoughts and dreams. Okay. The ninth world is a world that seems massive in civilization over the course of 2 billion years since sentience life rose. Civilization could rekindle a dying sun, seed atmosphere, nanomachines, shape consciousness, become the seed of vastly, making fundamental force. Okay. Okay. So that's okay. So I'm assuming this is the tattoo. I wish I could make her look up. She looks so creepy looking now. Alright. So it's been an hour and a half. This is pretty good for one session. Character creation, getting through the basics, looking around. Next week we'll actually go out in the town and we'll figure out what to do from there. So how do I exit? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to save the game. And you can see I've played a little bit. And honestly, Okay. Okay, so it's new game. And what we're going to call this is we're going to call this the charity event. Pause your game. And we're going to save. Alright, so here I'm going to stop the video.